How can you be better at adapting to a change at work? If there's anything that we learned in 2022 or this 2022, it's that adapting to change at work is a crucial career success skills. But how can you be better? And as we heard into next year, we still going to be faced with adapting to change at work. So how can you be the best possible when it comes to adapting to change? Well, that is what we are exploring today. The first step to adapt to change and work effectively is to accept it. Whether it's a complete change in how we work, like how many of us just went from going to work in the office to working from home. If it's a change in your career status because your company has gone through some changes and having to downsize, or maybe you're going through a merger or an acquisition or just the usual restructure at work, the most important thing that we can do when it comes to adapting to change at work is to accept that you're not going to be able to change all the macro level things and leadership decisions that are going to impact your day to day life at work. However, instead of resisting the wave, you can decide to get into it and surf. And I know some of the changes create a lot of instability and unsteadiness and fear and anxiety and all of those things. But accept that the change is happening and control when you can control. And this actually leads me to the next step to adapt to change at work, and that is to communicate. Especially when you are going to change at work, there is going to be a lot more questions than there were answers. This is exactly what I went through a few years ago when we encountered change of management with my previous company. We had a lot of questions and we were figuring out a lot of answers along the way at every level of leadership. And the thing that I learned as we navigate all the unknowns that we need to do was the best thing that I could do, both for my boss, for my team members, for my peers, was to communicate. The more open I was about what we were working on, the status of things, the goals, and the more clearly I understood what was going around me. I was better able to navigate these changes and to help my team members navigate those changes as well. Even if you are not a manager and you don't need to worry about communicating with your team, you can still be a leader in adapting to change at work by making sure that you are keeping open communication with everyone around you. And this brings me to my third tip to adapting to change at work. And this is the most important one, especially if you are going to a major reorganization or a merger and acquisition. And if you are focused on one thing as you adapt to a change of work, you are going to be okay. When you need to adapt to change at work, focus on the metrics that matters and do this unrelentlessly. No matter what change your company and the team is going through, there are going to be specific metrics that are non-negotiable. And as long as those are moving in a positive direction, you are going to do everything you can to support your business and your team through the changes you are navigating through. And if you are navigating in stable time of your career, as our company is doing this is going to net you the most positive results, either in job stability, where you're at, or making you really in demand for your dream job. And the metrics that matters typically comes down to dollars and cents. So while you're adapting to the change at work, I want you to think about what metric can I really focus on. If you are in sales, It's your quota, it's your revenue. And the fourth tip that I have on adapting to change at work is to find ways to create impact. Going back to all those questions that don't have answers, if you know your wheelhouse, you know your expertise and what you are uniquely qualified to do, you are actually going to be able to be someone that answers some of those questions. Because ultimately, when you are navigating change at work, it's an opportunity, and maybe in stepping up into a different role in the company, no matter what it is, as long as you know your UAQ and what you can bring to the table and making that positive impact, you are going to be accelerating your success even through unsure times at work. And this brings me to the next tip, and this is crucial because I know a lot of people that don't do this. They end up miserable, insecure, and sometimes on the chopping block. When you're navigating change at work, you need to stay positive. And I know when there's a lot of uncertainty, when there's a lot of ambiguity, and not feeling very confident in your career or instability of your job at that company. And that is a hard place to be in. But remember, you really control two things in this situation. You control how awesome you are, you control your attitude. And in fact, when you choose to adopt positive mindset as you are adapting to a change at work, this is going to be what allows you to see and really take advantage of the opportunities that are being presented as you navigate those changes at work.